me and Kato kind of went through some weird shit, man. I don't like to like put shit out there personally on internet, but now I hadn't spoke with Kato in a while. He's doing he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing. But as far as that, me and him go way back, bro. Like, Kato was rocking with me at the time when I was fully in production, and he was an artist as well, and he was trying to get his shit off. And at the time, he really was digging the shit I was doing, and he always would try to present beats to me. But at the time, I was already producing my own shit, so I would just like always shoot him down, like, bro, this shit cool, but I produce my own shit. And a friend of mine, I ended up linking him and a friend of mine together. His name is Els Jenkins. Els is looking for a new producer and just a new place to record. And so I was like, yo, I introduced him to, and I think Els kind of started because Kato started out as a boom bap producer. He wasn't really into the trap shit like that. So a friend of mine kind of just started introducing him to the trap world and trying to help him, like, you know, switch the beats up. And then, you know, from that point, he evolved into where he is now. But yeah, as far as me and him, man, I hadn't spoke with him in a while. So, you know, it's no necessarily bad blood, but I just think I'm doing me, he's doing him. And, you know, shit, we'll meet when we meet. So with Roc Nation, they had interest in me, and at the time I was working. Me and Kato was working on the Yuck Fou project. Like, we had the project done before I signed, and they wanted to do something. They wanted to work on a couple of projects myself, and so I was just like, you know, Kato was the homie, so I was like, yo, they didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Shout out to Roc Nation. Nothing negative to say about them, but at first, they didn't really want to involve, because the deal was with me. It wasn't with Kato at all. They didn't want to involve Kato, and they didn't want Yuck Fou to be the first project, you know, because they wanted the light to kind of be on myself. But just, I'm that type of person. I was like, fuck it, with me and him been working on this shit. Like, I'm a fight to kind of get this in there. So I kind of fought to get the Yuck Fou project as the first shit. And you know, they listened to it and they respected it, and they was like, the shit dope, so we'll rock with it. So I was on Roc Nation for about 2 years, and it's a different world from when you're usually doing shit independent and you go to a major label. The way they operate is completely different than how you operate independently. There's a different structure. What I mean by, so if you're doing, for an example, if I'm doing something independent, like let's say I want to put a song out right now, I can do it right now. But when you're working with a label, you're assigned A&Rs, you got to get certain things cleared. So it doesn't move as quick as you want it to move. So that's the difference, man. It's dope in a sense, but at the same time, it's a different world. So what happened, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was just feeling, I'm actually, by law, I'm not allowed to talk about the Roc Nation deal and shit, but not downing them. Everybody at Roc Nation was super fucking cool. It was a super dope experience. The A&Rs, everybody was super dope, a lot of love. It was just getting to a point to where I was so used to working in this independent way, to where the way that the majors kind of move, I was just like, I was feeling like I was kind of, not saying that they were holding me back, I was just feeling that the system, at the way they move, might have been holding me back as an artist, because, you know, we live in a time to where you have to consistently produce content. The longer you stay away, especially if you're not an artist, like a mainstream big artist like a Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole or somebody like that, like they can take time out because they had such a big impact, and they're always going to have, you know, people, you can take 3 years off. But I think independent artists that may not be on that same level as far as popularity, you got to continue to produce content. You can't take off, and you got to be in people's face, you know, until the shit clicked for them. So I kind of wanted to go back. So I actually asked him, could I do my, you know, I spoke with the, you know, the CEOs at Roc Nation, man. And I asked them, and I asked for their blessings and their wishes. Can I just go back to, let me do my thing independent, man. And let me just go back to doing that for a minute, because the mainstream system, from where I am in my career and what I want to do, just that system wasn't working for me. So you know, with their blessings, you know, of course they gave me some, you know, some fight and some pullback, but they gave me the blessings to go ahead on and, you know, start putting shit. I can go back doing shit independently my way. So now I'm back, you know, putting this shit out on my own. I got Foundation Media as a distribution. So that's how we've been rocking for 2020. I think now the only downside about it is the touring element of it, because I'm one of those artists that's consistently always on the road. And I actually had 2 tours. I was doing a Canada run with me and Chris Webby, and then I was going back out on my own in August. And that the Canada run was supposed to be in July. I think as far as the touring, it kind of fucked things up for independent artists right now. Even major artists, man. A lot of people, you know, the touring is a great place to connect with fans, make new fans, and touring is all because you're in their face versus and somebody may bring a new person to a show, or especially if you're on some shit. So like for instance, me and Chris Webby, there might be fans that come out that don't know who I am, and then I'm making new fans via Chris Webby. Same with him. They may say Jarren Benton, and they never really fuck with him, and then they see him like, oh, this is another artist. And you got merch, you can sell merch. It's just more of a personal experience as far as an artist. So touring aspect with the pandemic, it kind of fucked the game up for artists in general. So you got to kind of find new ways of maneuvering. And that's just creating different content. And I'm not one of those dudes that's like, you got to consistently create content every fucking day. Because sometimes, you know, people can get on your nerves and shit just may not. I just think just consistency in general is just if your consistency is I'm doing something every month, or your consistency is I'm doing something every week or 2 days. With this pandemic, you have to be consistent. But I think that even outside the pandemic, so you just got to find new ways. And I think everyone is kind of trying to figure it out. I don't think nobody even has the answers right now because this shit's so new. So we all just trying to figure out like how to maneuver through this pandemic. So I honestly just think one of them is consistency, and the downtime kind of gives some of us the space to be a little bit more consistent with the music. So that's the only answer I got, man, is that consistency, but that's even outside the pandemic. So I'll be curious to see like how we fucking move through this shit. That versus shit that Swizz and Timbaland is doing is dope. Like that's a new implement, you know, that they put on a game. So that's dope. So I'm just curious to see what other things artists going to create.